Leroy. Woo! Wow. I got to be honest with you. One of the sporting events I've ever been to. One of the best. Because, look, it's been a hell of a postseason so far. And being at Jimmy Butler's 56-pointer was something I'm never going to forget. But let me tell you something, man. That crowd was electric tonight. That building was on fire tonight. And the Heat doing what they did to those rat bastards from Boston doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't. Seeing every Sully and Murph walk sadly out there, walk out of the building to see their team just absolutely demolished, throttled, embarrassed, humiliated when their season was on the line. It was magical. I love it so much. You know, as much pain as it felt seeing Jimmy miss that 3 last year, this was the opposite of that. And to see the Miami Heat walk in there today, welcome in the Celtics, and put a death grip on this series to go up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, a win away from another trip to the NBA Finals. It was magical, dude. It really, really was. And, you know, this postseason run has just been absolutely something special. And it's unlike any that I can really remember. You know, there wasn't a ton of stress in the bubble run when they got to the finals, but then of course you had just the unfortunate incidents of Gogi getting hurt and Bam getting hurt. But this is like, you know, this has been something that's pretty incredible because that was still a run that was led by, like, you know, you still had Goran Dragic spearheading things with Jimmy and Bam. It's the first time it's all together. And I just think of all the adversity that this team has been through this year, and to play with the swagger, the bravado, the absolute, just an absolute killer mentality, and to do it against what everybody dubbed as the creme de la creme of the Eastern Conference. And Spo put a little bit of voice to this after the game today, where he was talking about a lot of emotions being pent up this year. And this was the head coach on what he had to say on that.
That was a solid, mature, professional approach. You know, there's a lot of pent up stuff here. And we're getting closer, but, you know, we still have to finish this off. But certainly the approach, and you could tell by just the morning session how much it means to everybody. But then you have to prove it and do it on the wood. And, you know, Boston did come out, you know, and but we were able to get the game on our terms and sustain it, you know, even, you know, through some of the runs in the first half and early in the third quarter.
And I think that just speaks to, like, the idea of, you know, they've gotten a couple of opportunities here to right some franchise wrongs. You know, I think that they held on to getting swept by the Bucks, you know, in particular Jimmy and Bam, and seeing them go and hoist a trophy. And I think that them seeing the Celtics on their floor last year win an Eastern Conference title and then move on to the NBA Finals, it's nice to see them acknowledge, like, yeah, we want to get them back for that. And they're doing it in just absolutely spectacular fashion. But to do it the way they did it today, where this team, as you know, Boston has to know, like, you can't go down 3-0 with Miami going to have 2 more, you know, potential cracks at home, a chance to sweep your ass. Maybe it doesn't even go back to Boston. You would think that they were going to have a little bit more pride, and they just had none. It was crazy. And Miami's just ball movement was so crisp. Everybody getting involved. Like, the chemistry between Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson, talked about this a little bit the last time around, but, like, you think about the 4 years those guys have had together, And it was, a lot of, connectivity between each other, sure. But man, Duncan Mother Bleepin Robinson out there, he was carving up the Celtics today. Like, he took them off the dribble once and then was just tossing lobs to Bam, kicking to open shooters. I mean, his basketball savvy today, the way he broke down the Celtics was just marvelous. And I think that's the thing that was just great is like Boston, okay, they were going to not let, today was the day, we're not going to let Jimmy beat us. And the Miami Heat were absolutely fine with that because they would just patiently wait for them to leave Gabe Vincent open or Caleb Martin open or Max Strus would be trailing on a fast break play. And they annihilated them. 19 of 35 from downtown today. And that's been such a story all of this series because this Celtics team that was coming in with these vaunted shooters all over the place. And it's so funny because, like, you think back to that mic'd up last time around Spo in Boston, and he's basically just throwing them in. Like, these guys are one-trick ponies. If they don't have the three-point shot, they don't have anything. And you're seeing them fumble the ball all over the place, turning things over. They're not connected at all, especially when things don't come early and easy. And I mean, the Heat are not only just kicking their ass, but they're rubbing their face in it. Like, you think about Jimmy Butler today. They have a point where it's in the third quarter, and Gabe Vincent hits a 3-ball, puts the Heat up 74-51, sees call a timeout. And while they're walking back, Jimmy Butler hits Al Horford and just waits. He goes into the middle of the floor, and he just hits him with the tee. And he's just waiting for Horford to catch his eyes. And Horford just like looks at him. You can just see the back angle of it. Just to get him back for that nonsense in game one, where Horford was just swearing this series was going to go their way and they were going to steamroll. And even after that, they come out of the gate. I guess they didn't get Jimmy for it. They called a verbal taunt on Max Strus, which was it's just hilarious. I mean, the Heat really just rubbed the nose in it for the Celtics today. And just to hear them after the game, just gutless. Jaylen Brown's out here. He still just can't fathom what this Heat team is doing to this Celtics franchise, where he had this quote. See if I can get it here exactly about what he said. But Jaylen Brown said something to the effect of like, we should be holding these guys down. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus. Like, he was trying to like pay a compliment, but he did it in such a demeaning way. And you're like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, you have the audacity to say anything about the competition that you're facing right now, what these guys are doing to you. He said, quote, "They're playing well above their means. They're balling right now. I got to give them the respect. Guys that we should be able to hold under control. They're playing their ass off." And yeah, I mean, you had monster games today from Gabe Vincent, who had 29 points, Duncan Mother Bleepin Robinson, who's been an absolute sniper, just doing it all. He had 22 tonight. He was 5 of 7 from downtown. Gabe Vincent was 6 of 9. Nice. Caleb Martin, he was 4 of 7. And Max Strus didn't even have like a big game today, but he had a couple of big threes. He had a monster lob to Bam Adebayo. And, you call them the undrafted. You could call them, the scrap heap guys, the no-name guys. You don't want to learn their name. You don't want to give them the respect. These guys were all here last year. They're here again, and they absolutely throttled the Boston Celtics in a must-have for them. They needed this game, and they're sitting here talking about, we should be able to do that. That's the thing. You walked into this series with arrogance, and the thing that's been amazing about it is Miami has been nothing but keeping everything the next game. They've not let up, and they haven't done it all postseason. Every single time you would think Miami, and that was one of the things I was looking out for today. I was like, are they ever going to revert back to that fat cat syndrome that they had in the regular season where things are so good, they'll just, let their guard down a little bit. I asked Duncan about this after the game in the locker room, and, he talked about it. Caleb talked about it. Just the idea that they have been impressed with how they've been able to hold everything and just move on to the next game and not let up at all.
Let up from you guys. Even being up in all these series, it's natural for the team down maybe to be more desperate. You guys haven't let that creep in at all this postseason.
Yeah, it's something we talk about a lot, just fighting human nature, wanting to kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit, but, we know we have a really special opportunity here to just continue to apply pressure and, close these things out.
Yeah, I think, I think most importantly, I think it was the fact how we handled, being up 2-0 right now and then playing at home. I think that we, naturally sometimes you let off the gas because you're at home. You try to rely on the crowd to win the game for you and scoring bunches, feeding off the environment. But I think that we made a point coming in with the right approach and mentality that they were going to come in and give everything they had and just weather whatever storm they had coming. So we're just going to have to stay with the same mindset in Game 4.
Been so impressive. By the way, I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm doing this. One of my best friends, he got a new business out. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just me wanting to give a shout out to my buddy because I know a lot of people are tuning into this tonight. Go check out. My guy's got he's got a farm out in Minnesota. He's got a meat. He's selling meat, and it's damn good. He's got it all going on. So butcherbro.com. Go check out my guy. Got all of your meat needs that you want to go on there. Get your online orders in there. Go check it on out. Butcherbro.com. Not plural, butcherbro.com. If you go check out my guy, get your meat products. It's all beautiful. Raises it all himself. Just absolutely fantastic. Check it on out. Speaking of delicious, let's talk about Boston Tears because all of this is just delightful. I was watching, Simmons, tweet away in a frenzy because of Missoula, who, crazily enough, just admitted to losing the locker room today after the game. That's wild. And I will say I had a perfect view of the Celtics bench. He has no connection with that team at all. I thought it was an overrated thing, like an overrated whiny Boston thing. There's a couple things, like seeing Missoula first time in person today. Dude is super young. It's just very noticeable. And there's a timeout. They're getting throttled at one point. I feel like I've used that word a lot, but it is the most appropriate one. But they were down 83 to, it was when Max Strus had the willy-nilly basket as Caleb Martin threw him on the break. They called timeout, and Al Horford is literally running the huddle. I know that'll happen where a player runs he's literally just running the huddle. Missoula's just off to the distance. Comes in there for like a 3-second play. Mike McDaniel, by the way, in the meanwhile, gets the crowd all rallied up and fired up with the towels. And, they come out of this and it's just like immediate, just, Jimmy bucket, Jimmy to the line, bam, all going to the free throw line. So it did nothing. They got no adjustment out of it. But so it was clear to the naked eye that Missoula has completely lost the team. But for him to admit it on a microphone, crazy. And so to think, I'm reading Simmons, I'm seeing, Portnoy walking out of the building. You're seeing, the Sullys, the Murphs, the O'Keefes, the O'Doyles, the O'Boyles, the O'Noes, O'Sullivans, all of them. Just in trauma, watching their team go up in flames down here in Miami, and their coaches lost, their best players. Has anybody seen Jason Tatum? Has anybody seen Jason Tatum? This alleged superstar who everybody gave a coronation to as the next face of the league. I'm looking for him. I'm looking. Where is he? I know where he's not. Scoring fourth quarter buckets. I know he's not there because dude has been a ghost. A ghost. Turning the ball over willy-nilly. The only good thing he did today was foul Bam so he didn't get his head dunked on, which Bam was basically doing to everybody else. Dunked it on Grant Williams' head. Dunking it on all the Celtics. Robert Williams, who was this vaunted guy last year, completely lost, doing nothing. And I think that's the thing is, like, I think the Celtics really thought they were going to waltz into this series and they were getting the same Miami Heat team. There's this video that was going around I saw as I was on my way in here today. And it was, I mean, like, I don't know who got this mic'd up, but I think it says, like, it's Marcus Smart chirping at Jimmy Butler saying, "We beat you last year." It's like, that's what you're saying when you're about to go down 3-0? Marcus Smart is going to sit here and have the audacity to tell Jimmy Butler, "Hey, we beat you last year," with all of his 8 points tonight. Jason Tatum with 14, 6 of 18, 1 of 7 from 3. Jaylen Brown, who's just been a complete non-factor in this series. It's really remarkable. Honestly, the only guy who showed any guts tonight was Grant Williams again, which Heat fans booed him every time he got the basketball in his hands. And I honestly think they should have given him a standing ovation. Dude was a spark plug. So it's wild, man. It really is. It was a fun night tonight, man. I gotta say, as an atmosphere, just on fire. The fans were awesome today. Shout out to everybody being there. The rally towels looked awesome. He went back to the White Stripes 7 Nation Army intro today. They went away from the Brock Lesnar music, and people were digging it. They loved it. So shout out to Michael McCullough and the entire Heat marketing department. That was a good play. He teased that. On the show with me and Leroy, which, by the way, I hope everybody tunes in and catches the party tomorrow, or actually in a few hours, as will be Goosey's galore up and down the wazoo. But yeah, man, it was a hell of a night. Shaq was there. Shaq sat with Riles, and so, like, how Riley sits in that contingent with Zoe, Andy Ellisberg, the whole crew there, and Shaq was there. And so then they, at one point, they play a Shaq montage and then throw it to Shaq, who gives a big kiss to Alonzo Mourning. Like I said, the whole day was a party, dude. It was unbelievable atmosphere. And now they got to finish the job. And as Eric Spoelstra said, and has been our rallying cry in this entire time, task at hand, dude.
Eric, when you talk about the pent up stuff you just referred to, is that still residual from the regular season? Is that just because you're so close to getting to where you want to go? Is it?
You can probably, you can probably fill in the blanks from that, but we have respect, deep respect, for Boston, and everything that we went through previously, and some of the emotions are coming out, but I like that, and then we're just going to direct us and keep on focusing on the task at hand. And we'll decompress tomorrow, but we'll really get our minds right to finish this thing off.
Really was just a great performance, but I want to give another shout out to Gabe Vincent, and Spo talked a little bit about him after the game. Gabe got to go on TNT afterwards, and he's just been awesome. The swagger that he's playing with, his life's about to change after this season too. He's going to make a whole lot of money. Deserves every dollar that he's going to get, because he's just been nothing but nails and guts and a pain in the ass on other teams' defenses, and is just shooting with such confidence right now. He's been amazing, and Spo even was talking about this today, about just he's got the Namdi swagger to him. He's got the Olympic swagger going for him right now.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It's not just a pull up; it's just his assertiveness and aggressiveness and reading the game. I thought he had as much of an impact and put his fingerprints on the win in game 2 as he did tonight. One of the games he had 4 points, another game he had 29, and he has that emotional stability to, he sees guys like Jimmy and Bam, who are the perfect role models, coming in as a young player, that it's about impacting winning, and sometimes it's about constantly making the right play and doing it on both ends of the court. That's tough to do as a young player, because so much is celebrated just about that last number on the box score. But we do need, since Tyler and Vic are out, we do need Gabe scoring. Or we need his, I don't want to say that, we need his assertiveness, we need his aggressiveness, we need him putting his eyes on the rim and then making the right play. And everybody wants him to do that. The same thing with Caleb. we want those guys every single time down the floor to be aggressive. It can't just be Jimmy and Bam. Now they're doing, the big muscle work, but you need a lot of guys contributing. And we all love that Nambi version. I've seen that one. And there'll be times where we do need that one. When he's Nambi, he can be special too.
So get your brooms ready. Hope everybody's ready to clean the Celtics out. We're going to sweep up everything coming up. I feel bad that I picked this series, and what it was I picked Heat in 6. I honestly thought the Celtics would show more fight. I thought they would show a lot more fight, but they looked completely disheveled, demoralized. They have packed it up. They are going to break that huddle on Game 4 on Tuesday night, saying 1-2-3 Cancun. So the Heat looking to finish the job, and what seemingly will be a matchup against the Denver Nuggets in the finals. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to partying with you guys on the radio show tomorrow. Tune in, Tobin Leroy, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And check it on out, everybody. We'll talk to you guys down the road.